Hello, my name is Mark Black. In this video, we'll look at the installation of the LSF Application Center 10.2. So what is LSF Application Center? Essentially, it allows users to interact with the LSF cluster through a GUI, so the users can access it via their desktops or even their mobile devices. From there, they can submit their workload, monitor their workload, and manage their workload. In this video, we're looking at the installation. So in my environment, I'm going to be installing LSF Application Center 10.2 in an existing LSF environment. I'm using Red Hat 7.3, but Application Center works on a variety of OSs and architectures, including Power and x86. So first of all, I need to identify a host to install the Application Center on, and I have to satisfy the prerequisites. So I need to be running LSF Server 9.1 or above on the machine where I'm going to install. And I can check that out by running the lsid command. LSF Application Center supports a variety of OSs, including Red Hat 6, 7, SUSE, and Ubuntu, and others. You do require at least 8 gigabytes of memory, and we also require about 2 gigs of disk space, typically an opt IBM. In order to install, I have to make some changes to the configuration of LSF. I need to edit the LSF params file and make sure that this configuration value is set to yes. If I've had to modify the configuration file, I will of course need to restart the LSF. So let me switch over to the live environment and we'll take a look at that right now. Okay, so this is the machine I'm going to use to install the Application Center. So let's check first to make sure it's running the correct version of LSF. So we require 9.1 or above. I can check that just running LSID. And you can see I've got 10.1 here, so we're good there. The OS, this is already a Red Hat box 7.3 as I mentioned before, so that's good. Memory disk-wise, we're almost okay there. We'll see just in a few moments what else we need. So what I want to do now is check the LSB params file, and the parameter I want to look for is enable event stream, and I want to make sure that that's set to Y. So to find that file, I can quickly just run env and pipe grep LSF. This will show me the LSF environment variables. So the one I'm interested in is this LSF envdir. So let's go there. So here's all of my configuration files. The LSB params file is actually under lsbatch, and then the name of the cluster, so I think it's called cluster 1, and then configdir. So here's our LSB params file. Let's take a look at that. Okay, let's search for enable event stream. Enable. And let's see if we find that. Oh, great, we're in luck. So it's already been set to yes. If this was set to no, I would have to change this to a Y. And the other thing that I would have to do is rerun the LSF restart command. So essentially change the file and then run LSF restart. But since that's already set, I don't need to run this command. Okay, so you've seen the LSF params file and the modification we had to make there. The other thing we need to do is make sure that we have a database available to us. In this case, what we can do is we can install MySQL or MariaDB on the machine where we're going to run the Application Center. And you can follow these steps here to install it. Essentially, you're going to check to see, do I have it installed already, using RPM. If it's not installed, we can of course install it using yum install if we have an OS repository set up. And of course we start up the database and then verify that it is functioning. Let me switch over to my live environment and we'll do those steps right now. Let me just check to see if I have a database here. Maria, M-A-R-I-A, DB. And no, I do not have the MariaDB server. So what I want to do is install that. I just happen to be using Red Hat, so I can use yum. DB server. Let's do that. And that will pull in all of the necessary dependencies. And you can see it's pulling in MariaDB and a bunch of Perl files. Do we want to do this? Yeah. So that's just pulling it in from my Yum repository. So that's the database installed. Now we want to start it up. System control, enable Maria DB. Okay, so that's the file set up, and then we want to start it. Okay, it started up. Let's verify it. We can run mysql-u root, so just essentially log in. I don't have a password set, so that's good. Well, you'll have to change that later yourself. Okay, so my database is ready. Okay, so we've got our database running. So we do need to connect to the database via JDBC driver. The JDBC driver is not included with the package. You will have to go and download that separately. The URL to get it is here. And if you go there, you'll want to grab the MySQL connector Java package. It might be a different version of this. Don't worry about that. Just download the latest version. You'll of course save it to perhaps temp directory, and what you want to do is extract out a package from it. So you'll extract the package you've downloaded, and you'll want to copy out the MySQL connector Java jar file. Let's do that in our live environment. Here's the file that I've downloaded, and the URL was in the slides earlier. So I've downloaded it, and what I want to do is extract that. So it's extracted those files into this directory for me. What I'm after is actually a jar file. And here we go. This is the jar file here that I'm after. Your version that you download may not be exactly the same as this. Just grab the latest version and it should be okay. So let me just copy this into /temp. I'm going to need this later on. Okay, so that's the JDBC driver ready to use. So now the next thing we want to do is to take our package and extract it. So we've downloaded our application center 10.2 package, and we just want to extract it using the tar command. So tar zxvf and the name and location of the file. Once we've extracted it, it's created a directory for us called PIC 10.2 Standard Linux x64. In there, we want to modify this file here called packinstall.sh. If we open that file, we want to search for the installation top to see where that's defined. You'll then modify that if you want a different location. You'll also modify or you'll set the location of the LSF profile file, and you'll also define where the JDBC driver was located. So you'll recall we extracted the file and copied the jar file into /temp in a previous step. So we want to give it the name of that actual file and well, fully qualified name for that file. Let's do that right now. So this is a machine where I'm going to install the application center. I've already got my JDBC driver here, and I've also downloaded the application center installation file. So let's go and extract that now. Okay, so that's extracted it. Let's go into this directory here, and we're going to provide some additional information about where to install, where our LSF installation is, and where to find that jar file that we've just extracted. Okay, so to do it, I need to edit this file here, the packinstall.sh. And I want to search for the installation top. Oops. Okay, so this is where the default install location. I'm just going to leave that as is. The other thing I need to do is set up the LSF enver. This essentially tells it where to find the LSF files. So let's do that. I need to get the value of this LSF enver variable. Let me do that right now. So you recall in the past I ran env. I'd already sourced my LSF environment. And we can grep for LSF. And there we go. LSF enver is this location here. So let me just copy that. And we'll re-edit our file. Search for LSF enver. And now we're going to put the value in here. Okay, so the script will basically source this file to get the location of all of the other LSF files it needs. Oops. So now we want to tell it where is that jar file. So I copied it into /temp, so that's good. The version that I'm using is 44. Okay, so that's it. So we've edited our pack install file, and now we're ready to run it. Okay, so we've modified the pack install .sh file. So now we're going to run it and answer the questions. Let's do that right now. Okay, so we can see already that it's done a check of the memory, and it's telling us our machine only has 4 gigs of memory. You'll recall from the prerequisite slide that we had really asked for 8 gigabytes. We'll just continue anyway. We have a small cluster, so that we can get away with this. So here's our license agreement. We're of course going to read and accept all of that. Now we're going to set up the database connection and schema. So it's asking for the root password to connect to the database. You'll recall that we just did a fresh install, so we don't have the root password set. So I can just hit enter. It's asking now, do we want to enable HTTPS by default? Want to disable it. We're going to say yes. I'm just doing a very simple, quick install. So we'll just disable it for now. Okay, so the install is running. It's installing the RPM packages right now. This will take a moment or two to do this. So you can see the LSF App Center is the bigger package. Okay, setting up the database. All right, so that's our install finished. Our installation is complete. Now we want to source the environment and start up the various services. Let's do that. So let me first source the environment. Okay, that sets my environment variables for the application center. Now we can start up the daemons. We'll do that by running these commands. And this one. It'll actually take these a moment to start. So what we can do is just check to make sure that everything's running by running these two commands here. So the perf admin list and then the PMC admin list. Okay, PMC admin list. There we go. So you can see we have all of these processes started. Now we want to test the LSF Application Center. So we're going to log into the GUI and try out a few commands. So let me just quickly show you how to verify who the LSF administrators are. You can use the ls clusters command. And you want to run it with the -L option. That'll give you the long list. And you can see that for the LSF administrators, there's myself and of course George. So we are both LSF administrators, and we can log into the LSF Application Center GUI and perform various administrative functions. Okay, so another thing that I put it as part of the installation was the URL we can use to connect to the Application Center GUI. So this is it here, and we're going to log into that. So let me switch over to the GUI and do that right now. Okay, so let me type in that URL that we saw earlier. So it was GUI01 colon 8080. Sure, we'll let it remember that. Okay, so let's take a look at our resources first. And we'll see the different machines in our cluster. And you can see in this cluster I have 4 machines available to me. So let's take a quick look and see how we would submit workload. So this is a brand new install. So we have a generic template that you can take and use to create your own job submission scripts. In later videos, we'll show you how to take this one and customize it for your own workloads. So let me just submit a very, very simple job here just to show you that everything works. The command to run, let's just run sleep. We'll give our name job a name, my sleep, and let's submit that. Okay, so that's our job submitted to LSF, and now in our application center, we can see here's our job. So that seems to be everything working nicely. So in conclusion, you've seen the prerequisites for installing LSF Application Center 10.2. You've seen what the installation process looks like, and you've seen how to verify that Application Center is up and running. In subsequent videos, we're going to take a look at how we can integrate applications into the Application Center and run them. For further information, there's a URL here. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that.